I was numb. I just kept saying, this can't be happening.
4 of the 5 people killed in April's Pigeon Forge helicopter crash died not on impact, but in the fire that followed. Post-crash fires are an issue regulators have been aware of for decades, but they've never fully fixed it. Good evening. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Robin Wilhoit.
And I'm John Becker. Thousands of helicopters in the air today do not have fuel tanks that meet current safety standards. We uncovered in a partnership with our sister station KUSA in Denver, and because of all of those loopholes in a federal law.
We also found during many crashes, people inside the aircraft often survived the impact, but not the ensuing flames. And that is what happened to most of the victims in Pigeon Forge, according to autopsy reports. WBIR 10 News reporter Michael Crow investigates why this keeps happening.
She didn't know it at the time.
It's like your heart's ripped out of your chest.
But this smoke and the fire it came from is what killed Tessa Ashford's boyfriend, helicopter pilot Jason Dahl.
I was numb. I just kept saying, this can't be happening. It's like you're hit with a truck. You just can't breathe. You can't think. I couldn't even remember the phone numbers of people to call.
The Bell 206 on a sightseeing flight for Smoky Mountain helicopters hit a ridge and crashed behind these trees, sparking a fire that burned into the night. But just minutes after impact, volunteer firefighter John Olberding ran up to the scene. He was vacationing in the area and looking to help. You can hear him on the 911 recording.
Oh my gosh, it's bad, it's bad.
He saw Jason Dahl, who had crawled from the wreckage, badly burned.
He was still alive, yeah.
But not for long.
It was terrible, yeah. Something I'll never forget.
While investigators search for what brought this helicopter down, they do know how the victims died. Autopsy reports show Jonna Morvant, mother of 2, died from the impact. But her children, Peyton and Parker Rasmussen, Peyton's boyfriend Michael Masteles, and pilot Jason Dahl were all alive as the aircraft burned.
I did try to approach the helicopter, and it was much too hot without any equipment.
Their cause of death, burns from a flash fire. The FAA began requiring crash-resistant fuel systems in 1994. Our investigative partners at KUSA in Denver used NTSB data to find that nationwide since then, there are 175 fatal crashes in which the helicopters burned after impact. At least 82 of those people were killed by the fire, not the crash. One of them in Frisco, Colorado, when a Flight for Life medical helicopter fell out of the sky. It was captured on security video. You can see just 3 seconds after impact, there is a fire and fuel is pouring out. The pilot was killed and 2 flight nurses seriously injured. Even though it was built in 2014, the AS350 model was certified in 1977, so it was only required to meet standards that were at the time 38 years old. And that continues to this day. Newly manufactured helicopters where the FAA certified the model before 1994 are exempt from updated fuel safety standards. The NTSB estimates 4,700 of the more than 5,500 newly built helicopters do not have crash-worthy fuel systems. Just 15% do. This Colorado helicopter did not have a crash-resistant fuel system. The tank is plastic, much like the 206 in Pigeon Forge, which Bell says was not built with a crash-resistant system. Barring the possibility of a retrofit, it had a rubber bladder fuel tank that can rupture on impact. It was built in 1977, before the FAA began requiring these crash-proof systems.
That becomes the question of, when do we demand this change?
Former Knox County Sheriff Tim Hutchison is an experienced helicopter pilot and says he's familiar with the problem of post-crash fires.
You survive the impact, you may be injured, but you think, okay, I've survived it, I need to get out of here. And then, I can't think of a more horrible way to go anyway, is being caught on fire and burned to death.
He's also seen the NTSB recommendations, most recently in April, saying fuel tank safety needs to improve.
If they can correct that, then we know that there are a lot of people that do survive that impact, and sure, it's going to save lives.
Let's go over here.
Since Tessa Ashford lost Jason to the crash, she's begun to heal, traveling and checking things off their bucket list that they plan to do together.
And my biggest takeaway from all of this is that we all just have to be braver than we are right now and go do the things that we want to do instead of putting them off.
And as she learns more about these fuel tank issues, she hopes the FAA will consider some sort of reform before this happens again.
If there's a way to make pilots and passengers safer and still be able to enjoy the beauty of flight, which is an amazing experience, then I think that's a good thing. I think that the conversations need to be happening.
And aviation experts tell us installing these crash-resistant fuel systems to helicopters would add just 1 to 2% to the total cost of the aircraft. We reached out to the FAA. They pointed us to that 1994 regulation and told me in a statement the FAA and the industry continue to work together to educate the rotorcraft community about the benefits of equipping helicopters with crash-resistant fuel tanks. Now, we also got a statement from Bell Helicopters. You can read that online. That's WBIR.com. And coming up tomorrow, John and Robin, we are talking to lawmakers about what changes they want to see after this report.
We will be looking forward to that. Michael, thanks.